You said something about clarity, and how does one, what about clarity, Akil? Clarity as a father. Clarity. Omar just mentioned clarity.
Yeah, I mean, when there is a father in the household, a young male will be clear about what his role should be when he becomes a father. I recall having conversations with my father, and his dad died when he was 6, so he didn't really see an example of how to be a father. So when he was a father to me, he was actually learning how to be a father. And so he gave me an example of how to be a father. He did a good job, I would say. So, you know, that example is very important. That's where the clarity comes from. But if that father is not there, then there are other examples.
Okay.
You have uncles. I mean,
Yeah.
I come from a big family, so we had plenty of uncles.
Yeah, that brings in what we sometimes...
Extended family.
Absolutely. You have the nucleus and the extended family. So that makes that a part of that. But I want to say something about family planning, or ask something about it, as a means to build and acquire wealth. But Dr. Boyce, he says that, and this is logical, it's easier to support a family with 2 incomes than 1. The single parent crisis, as he puts it, has only served to worsen the wealth gap in America. Now, he says, the wealth gap in America. We're talking about African Americans here. So that may be another critique of this particular article. It goes on to say that these outcomes are not always the doing of black people. We're back at racism, discrimination again. And he also goes on to say that, but they are certainly among the problems we must confront. Keyword, confront as a community. Broken families are the reason that black men and black single mothers are among the worst off economically in the United States. Jeffrey.
All right. Just to expound on that idea, I also went back and took a look at or refreshed my memory on the Willie Lynch letters before the show, and it was something that I realized, I guess that stood out to me getting prepared for this, was that they were dealing with the issue of making us slaves, but it was an economic front.
Okay.
You know, they were doing this for economic reasons. They were breaking the black family up for economic reasons. So when they broke the family
Willie Lynch and that whole group of racists.
Yes. The Willie Lynch letters talk about how they took the black male and they totally destroyed him in front of the other black people on the plantation. So it would take away his will to resist. To resist what? To resist slavery or oppression. But them being able to do this, they were able to shatter our economic basis, and our economic base starts with the family. And so that's why economic planning is important, and we need strong black families in order so we can build a strong nation and also a strong economic base, and that builds wealth. Brother Boyce Watkins talks about how once you get grown and you need help for things like financing your education, our family economic base should be so strong that our parents should be able to handle that for their children. But in a lot of cases, we're not, and that's because a lot of families are single-headed, and a lot of times those that are not single-headed are still trying to overcome economic difficulties.
Right, we've got 6 minutes. He wants to emphasize the importance of family planning that plays the ability to build wealth. Here's the question. He also says there are multitude of economic factors which have served to deliberately destroy black families, and this is part of what has led to the chaos we see in our community. So how does one build wealth through family planning in the face of these multitude of factors? Omar, take it.
You know, when you're looking at family planning, I have seen families that have 10 and 12 children. Everybody went to college, and everybody did well once they left the home. We have a misconception about how to create wealth. That's our big problem. We'll go and buy a $200 pair of tennis shoes, They cost about $8 at the factory. And they sell them for $8 in the country where they're made. We got some jeans called True Religion that sell for $350. That's more than what the robe was that Christ wore when he went to the cross. The jeans wouldn't cost more than $5 for material and $2 for the labor, but because it's so-called name brand,
Right.
we are ignorant enough to give somebody some money for that kind of material. But if you look at Jewish people, if they give their child $200, they take it to the bank. They have the child set up an investment plan so they can see that money grow through an investment plan. We take it to Macy's, and immediately overnight it's gone. We got the money.
Yes.
We just don't know how to handle the money.
Right.
We don't know the science of business, and business starts inside the family, like Brother Jeffery said.
Right. So you're saying that the monies, resources are just simply misdirected.
Yes. Misspent. Yes.
Misspent.
Yes.
The lack of the ability to prioritize. Well, I want to commend my daughter for taking my granddaughter to the bank earlier this week, since we were talking about
Yes.
taking our children and
Yes. Yes.
grandchildren children to the bank. Akil, help us out here.
Yeah, a lot of the reason why the planning is not in place is because of a lack of education. Now, we can't forget that the majority of our people don't go to college. We have more brothers in the penitentiary than we have in colleges. So there's a lack of education and understanding the system in which we're operating. And so until people get that educational foundation, we're going to continue to see these problems only expand as time moves on. And so education is the key to planning. And there are more women in school, so that's why you have women leading the households, because there are more women in school. So they have that educational foundation, whereas a lot of times the men that are available to them might not have that education.
What a dichotomy.
And it's by design.
By design. More women, African American women, in school, and more African American men in prison. What a dichotomy. Now, if you happen to be in prison, Omar, this next one is for you. We're down to 2 minutes, and let's move with, as they say in basketball, with the quickness. Should they be learning, getting educated, developing their skills? Many of them have skills, is what I'm saying. And here, is that the way in which they should travel on their journey? Now, and while we're at it, when we come back, let's define education in our terms and by our rules. And when we come back, we'll talk about this next week, but we'll get into solutions and we'll determine whether we agree with Dr. Boyce or whether or not we disagree with him. We'll just put a check mark by the ones we disagree with and a plus by the ones we agree with. Omar!
You know, I went to Whiteville up at the Hardeman County Penitentiary on Friday. And yesterday I went to the prison up at Fort Pillow, up at Henning, Tennessee. And the message is still the same. Under the Bush and under the Clinton administration, 17 million jobs left this country, and they are not coming back. There are people who have master's degrees, I know them personally, who can't get a job in their field, and some of them can't get anything but part-time work. There are people with PhD degrees, they're pushing bags around at FedEx. I'm telling the brothers in the prison, get your GED for your own benefit, but get a skill somewhere. A marketable skill so you can come back to your community, because if somebody's putting a roof on my house, I don't care how many times they spend in prison, I don't know what can you do to the roof and make sure my house don't leak. If they come in to put a fence on, I want to make sure this fence can withstand the rain, can withstand the storm. I don't care where you got your skill from. The same thing, if you got electrical skills, light up my light like you light up, somebody else's. And give me a good price on it.
There's nothing wrong with negotiating.
Nothing wrong with it. We have got to take our children, because college right now is good, but if you look at it, you have, the man that came up with the computers, Bill Gates.
Yes.
Didn't graduate college.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Zuckerberg, he's a billionaire.
Yes.
I mean, college is very important. We got to have it. But we also need to start steering our children toward 2-year colleges and also the trade and vocational school. We can act a plumber. A plumber can make as much money as a school teacher, and more sometimes.
Yes.
So don't just steer to, I got a degree, I got a bachelor's degree, I'm a former school teacher, but I wouldn't recommend that for everybody. It's not made for everybody. So we need to steer our children, especially our young males, into areas of expertise where they can make them a good living at it. And if we miss that mark, then they're going to hang out in the corner because that's the only thing they know. They know the gangster rappers, and they know that they made millions of dollars gangster rapping with gold chains. That's the only image they see of somebody who's successful.
Yes.
We got to show them other ways.
Or some other sport, which is highly competitive.
Yes.
So we're back
Which
talking.
they'll never make it.
You're right. We're back talking about our perception of reality and the accuracy thereof.
Yes.
Is that right, Jeffrey? That's what we're talking about. So it sounds like I hear Brother Omar talking about the need for skills, thereby construction, building. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. And yes, I agree with both Brother Akil and Brother Omar. Brother Baruti. We have to have educated black males, but we need those people who have skills. And we need those people who have skills so they can become innovators. Because that's what we need in order to build our economy for ourselves. We need innovation for ourselves, and we need a labor force for ourselves, and we need skilled labor for ourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Likewise, we do need intellectuals.
Yes.
Okay, with intellectuals, innovators, skillful individuals, and individuals who are creative as well. What is required, Akil, to have, possess, obtain those kinds of good sounding words?
Again, it goes back to the family. It starts with the family.
Yes.
It's going to end with the family.
Yes.
So if the family has a skill, if a father has a skill, he should pass that skill on to his son.
Yes.
If a father is an educated person, he's probably going to push his son to be an educated person. So you need both.
Yes.
You need the balance of both.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I think that's why Booker T and W.E.B. Du Bois were at odds with one another, because their egos would not allow them to realize that they needed both.
Okay, I take it. Good.
And it shouldn't have been a debate.
We've got a caller.
Work together.
They should have.
We have a caller on the line.
Go ahead and take it right quick.
Go ahead, caller. Real quick, 2
Hey,
minutes.
gentlemen, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, my name is Brother Eli. I just want to call and commend you and let you know that you're on point. I just want you to keep it up.
All right. Thank you.
Well needed.
All right, we appreciate it. We thank you for your support.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. So, how much time do we have, Brother Isaac?
We need to wrap it up.
We need to wrap it up. Well, we had one more question, but bring it in, and we will continue next week on this same topic, and we will talk more about solutions, starting with education and our reality, African American reality. And one thing that I do want to say, that what is required is for African Americans with courage to speak to their issues. Now, what we were talking about TV, while we're talking about TV, some of the individuals on those TV screens and some of those actors, those are some silly programs. So if you're on a silly program, some of those individuals are silly as well.
Yes.
Now, unless they're taking money, profits, and investing it somewhere, I don't have a problem with planning and strategy behind the scenes. And that's a wrap. Tune in next week. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Little Power Show.
I stumbled a few
Wallace
times.
Redd. You start tuning in on Sunday from 12 to 12:30.
That's right.
Sunday, January 18th, 6 p.m. 6720 East Range Road. Tickets are